We need more agility, not more security theater. Grant's words hung in the conference room like smoke. My name is Marcus Liu, 40 years old, lead security architect at Nexera Labs in Seattle, Washington. For 9 years, I'd built and maintained the security infrastructure protecting financial data for over 300 clients. But just 2 weeks into his new role, my new boss, Grant Fellon, decided I was the problem. Want to know how it all unraveled? Stay tuned to Jake's Revenge for a story of corporate chaos and vindication. These protocols are outdated, Grant continued, flipping through my quarterly security assessment. We're losing deployment velocity. Our competitors are moving twice as fast. I kept my voice level. Those competitors have also had breaches. Everyone has breaches, Grant waved dismissively. It's about recovery, not prevention. The team leads nodded along, too scared to challenge the new boss. Nobody except me. Our clients trust us because we haven't had a breach, I said. But Grant's smile didn't reach his eyes. BlackRock, Citigroup, J.P. Morgan. I'm familiar with financial security requirements, Marcus. What happened next will shock you. 2 days after I was fired, the company's security crumbled. Keep watching Jake's Revenge to find out how my warnings were ignored and the catastrophic fallout that followed. Grant didn't get it. Our system wasn't standard. I'd built custom security layers, proprietary firewall rules, custom IDS patterns, a homegrown access control system. All documented, but sparsely, because the board never approved time for proper knowledge transfer. We don't have time for that today, Grant said, closing his laptop. Everyone's stretched thin getting the new client portal ready. Let's table the security discussion. After the meeting, Diane from product development caught me in the hallway. You okay? That was rough. I'm fine, I said, but I wasn't. 3 days later, my access to the security logging server was restricted. A new policy from the CTO's office. That night, I backed up my documentation to my personal drive. Not company data, just my processes, methods, and system architecture. Something told me I'd need it soon. The next morning, my security dashboard flagged 3 unusual login attempts. Nobody else noticed. I'd come to Nexera after 5 years at a government contractor, joining as employee number 26 when it was a scrappy startup. My dad was skeptical when I left my stable job for this, but I believed in our vision, security-first financial data management. I took a pay cut, compensated with equity. For years, I worked 80-hour weeks building our security architecture, creating custom solutions when we couldn't afford off-the-shelf products. The compromise? I'd build it myself, but there was never time to document or train others. That's a bottleneck, our previous CTO, Jennifer, warned. What happens if you get hit by a bus? Whoever replaces me better be good at reading code comments, I joked. Jennifer understood the technical debt, but she protected me from the board's push for faster releases. Then Nexera was acquired by Vertec Holdings, and Jennifer was replaced by Grant, whose mandate was clear: accelerate growth, streamline operations, unlock trapped value. Within a month, security reviews were shortened, penetration tests scaled back, my team's upgrade requests deprioritized. Diane confided over lunch, they're pushing our sprint capacity to the breaking point. QA is getting squeezed. What about compliance requirements? I asked. She shrugged. Grant says we're reinterpreting them. That evening, my direct report, James, stopped by. Something weird. Grant questioned our firewall rule update process. He wants workarounds for emergencies. After James left, I stared at my monitor. 9 years of careful work, and they wanted shortcuts. I could feel it unraveling. Thursday morning, a calendar invite, security restructuring discussion. Marcus Liu, Grant Fellon, Conference Room B, 2 p.m. I checked my dashboards one last time. Everything was running as designed. At 2 p.m., I walked into the room. Grant was there with Heather from HR. Marcus, have a seat, he said, his tone empty. We're restructuring security, transitioning to a distributed approach. Your position as centralized security architect is being eliminated. Who will maintain the core infrastructure? I asked. Cloud-native tools with third-party management, Grant replied. More scalable, less dependent on tribal knowledge. Tribal knowledge, 9 years of custom solutions reduced to an anti-pattern. Heather slid a folder across the table. This outlines the severance package. 2 months' salary, extended benefits, accelerated equity vesting. I scanned the numbers. Fair, even generous. This decision came from above Grant. We'll need your access cards and credentials today, he added. James will handle knowledge transfer remotely. James doesn't know the entire system, I said. Nobody does except me. Grant's expression hardened. Everything's documented, Marcus. We've reviewed your wikis. Documented, yes, but understanding it required context I'd never had time to provide. I wrote down my passwords: domain admin, VPN, security console, monitoring systems. 9 years distilled into 8 credential sets. I know change is hard, Grant said, but this is the right direction. I handed over my access card. I hope you're right. Walking out, I passed the wall of awards: Nexera Labs, Most Secure Financial Data Platform, 5 years running. My work, my legacy. I didn't feel anger, just certainty they'd made a catastrophic mistake, not firing me, but thinking they understood what they were dismantling. In my car, I turned off my phone and drove to Lake Washington, calculating how long until the first security incident. Not if, but when. 2 days later, it happened faster than I expected. Texts from James: systems acting weird. Multiple alert triggers. Can you call? Part of me wanted to let Grant learn the hard way, but professional instinct won. I called James. Thank God, he said. Unusual traffic on the Eastern Gateway. The monitoring system's flagging it, but nobody knows what to do. What's Grant saying? I asked. He's in board meetings. IT says it's probably a false positive from automated rule updates. Those updates I designed. If they were triggering, something was wrong. Did anyone check the second-level verification logs? I asked. Silence. The what? I closed my eyes. James, there's a secondary validation system. If both are triggering, it's not a false positive. I walked him through accessing the hidden dashboard, a system I'd built during a hackathon. Oh, James whispered. Both systems are lit up like Christmas trees. Isolate the Eastern Gateway immediately, I said. Power down the external connection, fail over to the backup line. I don't have authorization, James replied. Nobody had transferred my access rights. Get Grant or senior IT, I said. Can you come in? He pleaded. That's not my job anymore, James. Call Grant. Tell him what I told you. I'll be available if he contacts me directly. 3 hours later, Grant called. Marcus, we're having security issues. I heard. James thinks it's serious. Our regular monitoring isn't showing much. That's because it wasn't designed for sophisticated intrusions. What do you want, Grant? He cleared his throat. We could use your insight. Phone consultation. You want me to consult on the system you said wasn't necessary? No one said security wasn't necessary, he snapped. We're restructuring how it's managed. How's that working out? Silence. We're prepared to pay your contractor rate. I smiled grimly. $800 per hour, 4-hour minimum, paid upfront, plus a signed statement of no liability. I expected him to balk. I'll have the paperwork drawn up, he said. How soon can you start? I can't, I replied. I've accepted another position. Non-compete prevents me from accessing your systems. A lie, but he didn't know that. Marcus, this is serious. Yes, I agreed. It is. I ended the call. The next morning, a cybersecurity blog headline: Financial data firm Nexera Labs investigating potential security incident. 7 missed calls from Nexera. Grant, Marcus, we need to talk. The situation has escalated. James, it's bad. Really bad. Someone's in the system, and we can't lock them out. The last voicemail was from Stephen Wright, Nexera's CEO. Marcus, whatever happened with Grant, we need your help. Our client's data is at risk. I called Stephen back. What's happening? I asked. Someone's in our systems, bypassing perimeter security, moving between client databases. Has the autolock triggered? Silence. What autolock? I explained the automatic quarantine system I'd built after the Threadbank incident. No one's mentioned a quarantine system, Stephen said. More muffled conversation. Grant came on. Marcus, where is this quarantine system? Not in the diagrams, I said. It was an emergency measure from 3 years ago. Check the August board meeting minutes. Another pause. Yes, here it is. Approved emergency measures, no technical details. Can you tell us how to activate it? Grant asked. It should activate automatically. If it hasn't, something's changed. Nothing's changed, he insisted. Check the scheduled tasks on the security server. There's a verification job every 6 hours. Silence. The task is disabled, Grant admitted. As part of the restructuring, they had dismantled my system piece by piece. While Nexera's nightmare unfolded, a LinkedIn message from Elaine Hudson, CTO at Sentinel Security Group, heard you might be available. We should talk. Sentinel was a top security firm. Over coffee, Elaine was straightforward. Word travels fast. Nexera's situation is unfortunate. I don't know the details, I said. I'm not there anymore. She nodded. Your reputation 9 years, no breaches is impressive. Until now, I said. The breach happened after changes you didn't implement. The job offer, double my Nexera salary, equity, a team of 8. The catch? Start immediately. My severance has a non-compete, I said. Elaine smiled. It doesn't apply to security consulting. We're not a competitor. That evening, Diane called. Have you seen the news? Headlines everywhere: Nexera Labs confirms major data breach. Stock plummets 28%. How bad? I asked. Intruders got into 40 client databases, Diane said. The system's in chaos. Grant's in crisis meetings. They've called an external firm. Sorry, I said, meaning it. You tried to warn them, Diane replied. The next morning, I signed Sentinel's offer. By noon, I was in their Seattle office. My first assignment, a post-breach recovery framework for financial firms. That evening, a text from Stephen Wright: the board wants to discuss bringing you back. Name your terms. I didn't respond. Some bridges stay burned. Instead, I emailed Elaine my recovery framework draft. Subject: preventing the next Nexera. A month later, Bloomberg's exposé: the dismantling of Nexera, how cost-cutting compromised security. It detailed Grant's disabling of key security mechanisms despite IT warnings. James, quoted anonymously, described how my architecture was dismantled. Board minutes revealed my denied requests for documentation budget, labeled non-essential. 3 major clients terminated contracts, citing lost trust. Grant's LinkedIn, strategic technology advisor, no company listed. His tenure, less than 3 months. At Sentinel, we got inquiries from ex-Nexera clients. A CIO asked if I'd built Nexera's security. Yes, I said. That's why we're calling you first. I took no pleasure in Nexera's downfall. A company I'd helped build was crumbling, and good people lost jobs. But I felt vindication. Security isn't overhead, it's foundational. 6 months later, Sentinel's financial security practice thrived. James joined as my senior engineer, Diane led client communications. Nexera was acquired for pennies, its brand retired, its breach a business school case study. I ran into Stephen Wright at a conference. No hard feelings, he asked. None, I said. Business decisions have consequences. He nodded. We're paying Sentinel 3 times your salary for consulting now. I smiled. The cost of security always gets paid upfront or after. After is always more expensive. He mentioned Grant was at Verifin, pushing the same philosophy. Good luck to them, I said. Back at Sentinel, Elaine shared news. Verifin suffered a security incident. Their CISO requested emergency help. Want to lead this? She asked. I shook my head. Send the junior team. They need experience. That afternoon, I finalized our client onboarding documentation. Section title: Understanding the Full Security Architecture, the Foundation of Trust. My father was right, job security isn't where you work, it's being the person who prevents disasters others don't see coming. Want more stories of corporate missteps and epic comebacks? Subscribe to Jake's Revenge for the latest in tech drama and lessons learned the hard way.